Okay, so I started DJing when I was 16, and it all started in the back room of the Black Dog pub in Grantham, a small market town that isn't that good. I learnt to DJ from a chef who moonlighted as a DJ in the evenings, and I carried his records for 2 years for free. And I did learn the trade, and it did treat me to where I am now. I remember picking up one of these for the first time. I put it straight down again. Picked it up again, looked at the crowd, put it down again. And then some weeks later, I came back to it and I actually uttered some word and then realised nobody in the audience as you're DJing is really listening that much. And then we did birthday parties, we did bar mitzvahs, we did weddings. We travelled to all of these things in a vintage Beetle, which was air-conditioned by the fresh air outside. We crammed in a sound system, the records, me and the chef into this Beetle, and I was crammed to the front on this windscreen every weekend, going to these gigs. I then graduated and got a job at the Phoenix nightclub in Grantham, the nightclub in Grantham. Before I got there, it had chicken wire in front of the DJ booth. You get in the picture, the kind of place. We couldn't play the jam because it started fights. Although people threatened me a lot, and I did occasionally play it. The DJ, the chef, he couldn't mix. He taught me a lot about DJing. He was fantastic with crowds. He had a great rapport with crowds. But he couldn't mix. It took me a year to teach myself to mix because I didn't ask anybody how to do it. Stupid. I've subsequently taught people how to mix in 3 weeks. So I love music. I was DJing, couldn't get any gigs, so I became a promoter. I put on my own gigs, started in Grantham again, rubbish town. Raves, didn't work. Did some stuff in Lincoln, okay. Did some parties, 21st, 18th, they were great. And then I came to Sheffield, and it started to work. But one thing strikes me at this point. One of my best mates from Grantham again, he's not a best mate anymore, he described me as a little bit weird, which at the time really shocked me. But I've sort of grown to accept that and use that as a strength rather than a negative in my life. I came to Sheffield, of course, because of World Records. It was only one thing. That was the only one thing that made me come here. But I remember being at the counter, spending hundreds of pounds every week, staring into Chris Duckenfield's eyes, saying, "Take me seriously." And then people like Easy D, who was massive at the time, coming into the shop and me being massively intimidated by this geezer. He later came and asked me to DJ at my night. Yes. We ran Anywhere Sushi for many, many years. It was a fantastic night. I ran it with a guy called Rob and Danny. We came up with it all together. We had the pleasure of working with the Designers Republic, making some fantastic artwork, learned some great things, did it all around the world. I say all around the world, we did a bit of Europe and most of the UK. New Year's Eve, Millennium Bug, where you going, 2000 for New Year's Eve. It was a massive thing. We could charge £50 a ticket. Mental. But Gatecrasher took the venue away from us 3 weeks before this gig, and the kind people at Corporation, then at Bank Street, gave us their venue, and we did the gig. We broke even about 11:30 at night. Magic Myth Illusion. Many people have tried to buy the NY Sushi brand off me because I think they thought there was some kind of magic there. The truth is, it was hard work. We absolutely loved what we did, and we really understood what we did. One of the best moments from my DJing career is playing a dance remix of Love Is In The Air, would you believe? But it was the promoter of that particular night who subsequently came up to me and said, that was the best moment in my life ever in a nightclub, and that's, yeah, it just makes me feel good, really. There's lots of others, but, you know. I also ran really mainstream nights. Disco 2000 was the biggest and ran for 11 years at Republic, which then became Gatecrasher. And it was their most popular night, it was their most successful night, it made them more money than any of their other nights. Don't believe the hype, Gatecrasher people. But then, on that particular date, my wife and I were stood, and I took that picture, and watched Gatecrasher burn down, and my wife was about to have a baby in 2 weeks, and that was not in the plan. So it sent things into a bit of a spin because obviously I earned money from DJing at that night. Yeah, some people might think that was a good thing, that burning out. Anyway, back to online sushi, we did big events called Big Bang, which we did at the Sheffield Ski Village, so 3,000, 4,000 people. I remember telling myself when we got to number 11, if this doesn't make money, I'm not doing promoting anymore. It broke even. So it was a period of change. I did PR for a while, which I look back and shake my head. I did some more marketing. I worked with some great designers again, which I still really enjoy and love. PR taught me a lot of things. One thing, I didn't want to do PR, but it taught me the power of stories, and that stuck with me. And you know, I put that into all my work now. I then went on to work for a digital specialist, which essentially put on conferences for digital people who worked in digital. And what I learned there really was very creative person who ran the company, and the power of the sort of collaboration and pulling from the crowd and using that collective creativity, which again I use to this day. I think reminding ourselves of where we're at in terms of the social media explosion, and I guess we were all in the midst of it. It was kind of like the Wild West in 2004 when I was working at this company. You know, that was when Facebook was invented, Twitter 2006. MySpace was the biggest, and you know we've seen that drop massively now. Facebook is obviously taking over. Back to the credible music and the mainstream music. I was always in my head really worried that people didn't take me seriously as a DJ. But what I've learned is that I walk the line of cool and mainstream, and that is actually my skill. And I apply that to everything I do now. And just to finish on really, I now work at the Sheffield Students' Union in their entertainments department, so I'm back promoting. And this is just a recommendation really. My album of the year is Subtract by Subtract, and also if you fancy checking out Little Dragon, if you haven't already, both fantastic pieces of music, and I'd recommend them to you. Thank you.